It's so scary when she does that,
Oh, I
Hello, hello,
know.
hello.
Ooh,
How are you?
hello. I'm really good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you, my friend. I'm good with all this sunshine. What the hell? It's crazy.
Uh,
It's
I'm loving it. I
it's
am
so
loving it.
warm.
I'm not,
So warm. I have
yeah,
a tan. I've not had
I
a tan
know,
in the
I can
UK
see.
in
You know,
years.
it's looking good. It's
Thanks.
looking good.
Thanks.
Yeah.
As are you. As are you, my friend. Rosy cheeked. Got some sun, some colour.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's the sunshine, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
literally no matter what you do,
Yeah.
it's yeah,
You
it's
looked so sorry. I'm just pausing you right there. You looked so beautiful when you did that there with the side profile because the sun really caught you just looked very dramatic. It looked really good actually. Just want
oh,
to say
thanks.
it looks really good.
Thank you.
There you go. It's
Cheers.
just gorgeous. I was like,
Thanks.
oh, someone should get that in a film.
Yeah, hire me, please.
Yeah. Hire us. We're actors,
We
we
what
could do it.
I know. Uh, what
Hmm.
are we talking about this week? We kind of because what we were going to say because this is the second time we've tried to record this episode. Thanks to my
Insert
dog.
outtake here.
Yeah, yeah, literally. But we what we were trying to say before was that we weren't sure were we about this topic.
Mm.
So, and for lots of different reasons, but I
I
think we
think
should.
yeah, I think it's an important topic. We wanted, I guess, to sort of dive into sort of a hot subject at the minute, which is I guess sort of how do we feel in industry, sort of in ourselves,
Mm,
and a lot of that is to do with how you look and how you're presented and how you present yourself. And I think it's a bit of a tricky one at the minute because there's so much discourse at the moment with, specifically how women should look and should appear in media. And I think, I mean, well, for me personally, it's hard not to get sucked into that mindset of, how we should look and how we should be living and what we should be doing and all of this stuff. And I don't know about you, but I feel like as women, we can't get it right.
yeah, I mean, it feels like I think I know, and this is you've said like why this is quite a difficult topic to talk about. Just and when and we were deliberating whether we were going to talk about it, but yeah, I think as women sometimes I think we feel no matter what kind of I don't know trends whatever, and I'm speaking kind of very generally here, I know,
Mm.
but whatever trends people try and keep up with, it still might not be like there and like and good enough and things. And I think, yeah, I mean, for me, I mean, when I started, I was like super young and I didn't really, it never really like body image and kind of like really thinking about like what you look like never really kind of, I'm sure subconsciously it did enter my brain. Like I remember
Mm.
like magazines and stuff, like my mum's magazines, like your glossy magazines kind of at the
Yeah.
time kind of being in the house and like me looking at front covers and there would be kind of celebrities and people, oh my gosh, like in the early noughties and mid noughties and late noughties, like people were really thing about like the wags and stuff. And I'm only saying
Mm.
like the wags in not a and definitely not in a derogatory sense at all. We are
No,
talking about
no, no,
obviously
no, 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 not
wives,
at
wives
all.
and girlfriends of the
Yeah.
footballers. And obviously, I remember the World Cup of 2006,
Mhm.
and I remember like being in school and kind of like picking your. I think I had Italy that year. And I remember kind of, everyone choosing, and I'm sidetracking, I know, but what I'm trying to say is that, you know, I think I probably subconsciously was thinking about body image and things like then. And I think you don't, I never really remember kind of thinking it on a daily basis or anything like that. But you get to your teens and obviously they
Yeah.
come with their own challenges. And I mean,
Mm.
I'm like to think I'm really lucky and I look back on my childhood and my teenage years, my adolescent years, um, with lots of happy times. Like I really enjoyed them. I mean, I love being an adult and,
Yeah.
wouldn't necessarily go back and do them again per se, but I'd be quite happy if for a day I was going to go through, that stage of life again. But it is tricky. It's very awkward, like you kind of,
Mm.
when you start high school, like, you want to be, um, you want to make sure that you're kind of trying to get on with everybody, and you're friendly, and that
Yeah,
time,
I think it's that
I
kind of
remember feeling
it's
like
like
that.
part of the human condition, right? Because humans typically we're gregarious animals and we want to be seen as part of the herd, as part of the bigger group. We want to be heard and accepted and have a place at the table. And with all of that, I think, in society nowadays, we have social media, we have AI generated models, actresses, and it's all just part of this ideal, I don't know, superhuman of what we should be aspiring towards. Because, I mean, if we want to get real basis on this, right? And this is the geography degree coming out, right? If you go back, you're obviously looking at, I don't know, societal, God, what the hell? I don't want to bore. But it's just, if you look at these sort of like pillars, everyone wants to be connected. And we use all of these things to make humans buy into being consumers. So if it's not one supplement that's going to make your hair grow, it's another thing that's going to make your bum grow, or it's this gym program, or it's this, I don't know, so again, a different, I don't, a meal plan. And it's all of this sort of dopamine scroll, connected disconnect, to try and better everyone. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to feel better in your body and better in your skin, or want to feel a bit better about yourself and how you go about your day. And if that means that your better is trying to, I don't know, make your life a bit easier going up 6 flights of stairs because your job's changed and you're walking dogs all the time, it's okay to just be okay. And I think we as performers, to be less meta and more more in our realm, it's a constant sort of struggle to not buy into that sort of mentality, especially when you're kind of fed this ideal all the time of what we should look like. Because half of
Mm.
it is, we say, we're all for body positivity and things like that, and we are. There's also this other side that's kind of going, but if I do this thing, will that get me that work? Will that get me that job? Because I still know girls that have lost out in auditions because they're not the right way for a specific casting director. And even, I mean, this is a different example, but I lost out on a job a couple of weeks ago because they had to source specific costumes for a specific time, and I was too tall for the materials that they'd sourced. And that's fine, that's not anything that I can change or whatnot, but it's just, why is it different when it's you're too tall versus, oh, she's got, I don't know, say for example someone's got acne, or someone's a size 10 versus a size 8. It's crazy. And I think it's really hard at the minute to wade through all of that noise, because it's also so
Yeah, I think, and I
fake.
think, and I think, and I think that's the thing, isn't it? Like, it's not real. Like, I think it's really important to sort of say that. I think if you're, if you're kind of feeling, it's hard not to, really. Like, if you're in this industry, I think, really being super honest, it's hard not to have times in your life when you don't think, oh my gosh, like, I remember being at drama school together, and I remember us kind of having almost like, one session we almost kind of had like a circle time moment,
Mm.
if you like. And people were kind of being really open and honest and kind of talking about, um, like things that they kind of felt, and like within the industry, and kind of like their kind of worries about kind of breaking into an industry, and a lot of it, not all of it, but a lot of it was coming back down to body image and the way that we look and the way that we want to be perceived. And
Mm.
when you're at your castings, or even before that, if you're at drama school, you're in your end of shows, and then you want, um you I know, I've just come out of drama school, really good drama school, and getting signed. It's all of that, and the body image stuff is linked into that. And I think I think it's really important to remember what you just said in that it's not real. Like it is a phenomenal industry. We always praise it. I
Mhm.
love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. But
Of course, I
there
mean,
are
we wouldn't
elements
be
of
in it
it,
if we didn't love
you
it.
know? Yeah,
But
but there are elements of it that are definitely you have to remember and you have to take with a pinch of salt that it's not all real. And I
no.
think that that needs to be kind of
Yeah, that needs to be because
remembered.
even I looked up a quote. Hang on, let me see if I can find it again of the one and only Kate Winslet talking about this because I think she is just so eloquent. And I mean, I don't understand how because she's so stunning, but she's been bashed an awful lot for how she looks throughout her time in
Hmm.
this industry. And
Yeah.
she just put this so eloquently. So I want to read this out. I do want to say to any woman who is trying to emulate a Hollywood look, it's a myth. It's honestly a myth. Women on the red carpet have been sat in hair and makeup for 4 hours to look like that and probably had facials every day during the week in the run up to the event. I know because I've been there and I've had that many facials. For me, the secret to aging at any age, in Hollywood or not, is actually accepting who you are and accepting that we can't fight change.
Yeah, I mean, aging, whether you spend thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of pounds,
Mm,
if you were going to go down one, and I'm not saying this is right or wrong at all, I'm not saying that. But even if you were going to go and spend all of that money on, let's go maybe like the most extreme version then of like a facelift, yeah?
mm.
Like you are still aging.
Yeah.
We can't. I mean, it's like a human. It's like I don't know whether it's like an arrogant thing of like human beings, but like, you can't. You have to kind of accept it. You have to live with it.
Yeah.
This is your body. You only get one body, and
Mm,
you have to try and remember. And I have to still try and sometimes. I'm only human, right? Like some days we had a discussion about this before today.
mm.
And, there are some times when I don't feel 100% confident. Like,
Yeah.
I'll look at a
Same.
photograph of me and
Oh,
I think, oh my goodness, like I don't love that photo. Like it doesn't
mm.
make me feel good. And it's sad because I think about I think about like the little version of me and like
Yeah.
photographs of me when I was a little girl. And I just look so happy in all of them because I'm not
Yeah.
thinking about body image. I'm not
No,
thinking about like,
not at
oh,
all.
was my hair too curly? And what about my cow's leg? And what about like,
Mhm.
as I was getting older, kind of, and it's when you get older, it's when people start to be like, either whether they're mean to each other or you kind of try and put people down. And I mean, I'm a big anti-bullying kind of person
No
anyway.
bullying on
And,
this pod. No bullying.
no, and I just think I really do feel I feel even more I think for young people today because
Oh God, it's so
they're
hard.
growing up, yeah, they're growing up with the social media,
It's so
and they
hard. I
know nothing
honestly
about it.
I actually can't imagine growing up on the chessboard that is social media nowadays. And I actually had a conversation like this with a friend a few weeks back because if I was going through puberty and the information that I was getting on my Instagram today was what was coming to me at 12, oh God, I don't know what I would be, but I don't
Yeah,
know
no,
how
it's
okay I would be with it all.
no, it's
Really hard.
difficult, and I think we need to remember that we need to think about that. I think going forward,
Yeah.
um, but I think our main message of today was definitely just saying about body image, and I mean, there are lots of stories that we could talk about. I'm sure you and I,
Mm,
um, but I think it's a reminder that not everyone does always feel great, and it's
yeah.
another reminder that social media, like whatever you post on your social media, like 99% of it is always, it might be a little bit less than 99%, but most
Mm.
of the time, people are just showing you the good bits, the
Yeah.
really good
It's
bits of
it's
their
the
life.
highlight reel. It's
Yeah,
the
it should be
highlight
called
reel of your
the
life.
highlight reel. It's not your real
Because
life.
it's not real.
No, because there are days, there might even be weeks, in your life where you just think, do you know what? I don't love myself at the moment. And
Yeah.
you have to try and remember that you do have to because
Yeah.
you've only got one body.
Yeah.
And I mean,
And one
you know,
life.
you
Why
get one life.
waste it?
Exactly.
thinking about.
But I think we try, I think we sometimes forget perspective. Like
Yeah,
I really do. And I think that's what it's about
yeah.
because you also, I mean, I'm super conscious about it, and I'll tell you like a real story
Mm,
that happened to me. But the reason I think probably why I personally still feel quite conscious, and I'm open about talking about it. I don't broadcast it on my social media, because I try and make my social media, me personally, it's kind of fairly positive. It's positive images. Yes, they are images that I've I used to post, gosh, when I had Instagram when I was 18, that's when I first had Instagram properly, 17, 18. I was posting everything you posted. And then I obviously archived lots as I was getting older and when I started work
yeah.
on telly and things like that. Like I was putting like the best bits of my life. But I
Mm,
was putting and I remember kind of thinking, and I remember growing up and being in my early 20s thinking, oh my God, like nearly everything here is like going on my social media.
mm.
Again, I'm not saying if you do that, that's a bad thing. Like people are making careers out of it. They're
Yeah,
being
totally.
influencers and fine,
Yeah.
totally. Like personally, I've realized as I was getting a bit older in my 20s, like it's probably not for me.
Mm,
And I kind of wanted to keep things. There are aspects of my life then that I want to keep private and for myself. But I remember being horrified. I remember one of the posts I put on my Instagram was one year related. It was a New Year post, and I was down in Cornwall with my family
mm,
and my partner, and I remember I remember kind of like posting about like body positive imagery and being kind to each other. And it's why, like, for example, like for me personally, like I started removing all my comments from
mm,
like so people couldn't comment on my images and things. And people, when I left Wolfblood, I was we finished filming in December of 2016. So I was just about to turn 22 and then it came out on telly. So, and I got fit. But when I started that show, when I was 17,
yeah,
18,
you were still a
I still kind of had
child.
a child body, right? And, I was curvier and stuff. I wasn't like necessarily like much bigger per se. But after that came out on telly, I went traveling for about 3 months
Mm.
in Asia.
Oh.
And I remember coming back and then kind of like jumping onto like other jobs and whatever else. And it was probably about 18 months, maybe a year after that, I was started, or maybe kind of just before the pandemic.
Mm.
Um, and I kind of remember people really kind of like commenting like really not very nice things on images of me that I'd. And I remember kind of, I mean, I'm saying this now, and people, if anyone is obviously maybe has a lot of time on their hands, I'm sure the images are still there on the website and online and the internet. And this is a scary thing, like forever. But
Yeah.
I went to an award ceremony at the end of I think I can't remember what it was, but I remember going to like an award ceremony. I think it might have been at the end of 2017, so I was 22, nearly 23. I think it was then. And I put on weight. Like, there's no beating around the bush and stuff here. Like, and I have, and I
But it's
don't
also,
look the
it's just
same
like,
belly and stuff. No, no,
oh,
but you
so
do as you get
bodies
older. Like,
fluctuate in
yes,
life. That's what they're
yes. No,
for.
I know. But in the science, yes, we all know this. Like, I didn't get
Yeah.
boobs. I didn't have boobs until I was 22. Right? I didn't. I was completely flat chested,
Oh my
which is
God.
why
This
probably
is such a
I think it
sidebar. I was
worked.
not. I had braces when I was 12. I had nothing else going on and I had big boobs. They were the
Right.
first thing to grow out. It was so crazy.
And so, but the thing is that the point really is that, isn't it? Is that like people are different, and I think
Mhm.
that's the point. So I was completely flat chested,
Mm,
and I was like, a sort of particular dress size, like for most of my like late teens and early 20s,
mm.
because I didn't have a chest. So when my boobs developed, and I got my hips were widening, I was getting bigger, and part of that was growing up into a woman's body,
Mhm.
yes. Part of that was because I do love wine, and not wine being the first thing, but cheese. I was thinking of cheese and wine, and I went to
Yeah,
Australia when I
cheese and
was in
wine
Asia.
night.
Well, like Asia, yeah, and I love food. Like I mean, anyone who knows me personally, like, doesn't know like a fabricated or like an actory version or a
Mm.
performance. Like, anyone who actually properly knows me, like, knows that I love going out for dinner.
Yeah.
It's probably the favorite thing to do, right?
Yes, we
And
do this
going out, like,
regularly. We both love
yeah.
food, and
And
food is a
so,
wonderful thing. I'm gonna
yeah, and it's like,
jump in here and just say, like,
and
it's a
it's
wonderful thing.
my,
It brings people together. Food is
yeah.
fantastic.
And so it's my favorite thing to do. And
Mm.
I mean, I'm beating around the bush here, but the long story short is, and it already is quite long, but people started commenting on images, like not only on Instagram,
Mm.
but people I realized kind of had made like a YouTube video, and the YouTube video was called like Leona Vaughan gains weight. And that is like, I don't know who made that, but that is up there online for whoever to see. Now and that is on there.
People have
Um
far too much time on their hands.
Right, yeah, and I get and I I feel kind of sorry for them because I mean I don't know whether that's fully grown adults that are saying that or kids or whatever. It doesn't really matter who it is. Although if it
Mm.
is adults, like shame on you. But I do feel like for me now, like when I look at photographs of myself,
Mm.
I am particularly like if I think it shows me at a different angle or if I feel particularly I don't know, like bigger than than maybe like in what my head like perceive
Mm.
to be that what I am. Um, I do like I get kind of quite anxious about it and I feel quite stressed about it because I'm not so much the kind of thing of oh my God, like like I have to kind of like dictate maybe everything. And like, people post photos of me and stuff, and maybe they do on social media. And I'm not like to the point, I don't say to my friends, let me look through every single photo and then I will decide what you can post. But I would probably maybe say to people like, oh, I've got my favorites. Like
Yeah.
these would be my favorites. Like I'm not going to say you can't post anything else,
Yeah.
but
But these are the
because
ones that I feel
that was
comfortable with you sharing with
yeah,
me.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're only human and we all kind of have like we all have kind of like hang-ups and insecurities and whatever else, but that was like a real thing that happened to me. And so what I found was that when this video online came about me, the Leona Vaughan gains weight video, um people were very much comparing in the video like my body, my actual body, not like me as a person, didn't know me from Adam, but people were comparing my body to that of from a child to an adult, and they
Mm.
were comparing these pictures and basically kind of saying like, like yeah, like look how big she's got, and like she looks entirely different. I wouldn't even recognize her, and like that kind of thing. And I think that's a real thing. That kind of, I'm really lucky. I'm very very lucky in many many ways because when I was growing up as a teenager, like I'm very lucky that I didn't have any um I didn't have kind of any like medical issues in terms of like eating or anything like that. I had a really, and I always have done, and I still do have a really solid, grounded family. I've
Mm.
always had a very tight circle of friends. Um, and I've got a loving partner, and I feel like having a very good support network around me navigates and does genuinely navigate, I think, like me through this industry because I think this industry, and we've
Oh
talked about
God, it
this, I
would
know
chew
as
you up and spit
well.
you back out if it,
It can be very
yeah.
difficult, and it can be lonely. It can be all those other things as well, and it
Yeah.
definitely can be toxic. And that was something that happened to me when I was in my very early 20s. And I think if it happened now, I probably would laugh. I'd laugh
Mm.
about it, but I really didn't kind of I was very upset about it, and I remember like not really like crying. I don't remember crying about it or kind of being like, oh my God, these images, like I just kind of accepted it because I think fundamentally in my core, thank God, um I am at the very core of me. I don't really care if I look silly, and I don't care really like now, like I don't have any makeup on my face.
Yeah,
Like I've
neither.
got some mascara and some eyeliner, but I don't have any like thing on my skin. And I think at the core of me, like I feel like I can go out into the world without makeup. Like I
Mm.
feel confident in my own body deep
Yeah.
down, but it's
But also
still a
I'm not
horrible
doing
thing to
this to
do,
like blow smoke up or whatever. People I have different points here. we can't control what other people do with their time and with their energy. That's
No, we can't.
not something anyone has any control over. And if you want to sort of sit and twist your brain around why people do what they do, you will drive yourself insane. Do forth at your own will if that's what you want to do with your time. I'm also going to say weight is the least interesting thing about a person. It really is.
Yeah, it
Doesn't
really is.
bear any inference as to who you are, what your ideals are, what you care about, what you fight for, who matters in your life, who loves you. That's crazy. It genuinely bears no. I could get so passionate about this, but it's just crazy to me that we place so much value on a number. And I do think it's more women in particular that have to deal with that side of things. I'm not trying to be
Yeah.
sexist or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
be horrible to men or anyone in any sort of
No,
shape
no,
or
no, no.
form.
It is women.
But I think it's
It's
a very,
mainly.
very female centric issue. And I'm also going to say, you are stunning inside and out. And I don't love that, we do I mean, everyone, I go through days where I'm like, oh my God, I really don't feel comfortable and I feel itchy almost in my own skin because, someone's put a photo up of me and I'm like, oh my God, and I'm at a horrible angle eating a sandwich. And you're like, oh my God, is that actually what? So I look like an animal. I've got oil dripping down my chin, but it's just, that's life. We're here to
Yeah.
experience it. And weight
Yeah,
should
and I
not be
think
on the
I
scale
think
of life.
no, and I think like just to kind of echo what you're saying, and you're very sweet, but I know in my head and my heart that I am a beautiful person. Like I know that I'm kind, I know that I'm nice to people. I know that I like the way that I look. Like I'm happy with the person that I am, and I love the way that I look. I love my eyes, I love my skin, I love the way that my features are.
Mhm.
Yes,
As you
sometimes when I
should.
think, yeah, but like, and I do, and I'm not arrogant in saying that. Like I kind of always have done. Like I've never kind of looked at myself. The only other thing I think I thought when I was younger, I remember thinking like, oh gosh, I've got like bingo wings or whatever. And it turns out I really didn't. They just like maybe weren't like super, super toned arms. But even when I was tiny, like, and I think actually, like I always have really kind of thought, you know what, this is the body that I've got, and I'm
Yeah.
really
And
lucky
it's,
that
it's,
it's a healthy body. My
yeah.
legs walk.
Yeah.
I'm not like in a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm. I've
I'm
got a
not like
brain that
limited
works.
in
I've got feet in my
doing
shoes that can take me where I
exactly.
need to go. There's
Exactly. And I know
really
that
not
sounds
much to
so
worry about here.
basic. Like, I've got to say this, but like, I know that sounds really basic and like people feeling like grateful and having like gratitude for that.
Mm.
But so many people, I honestly think like aren't grateful, unfortunately, for the body that and the person that they are because we kind of live in a world,
Yeah. That
I think
infantilizes and idealizes this
yeah, that what we should be looking
this
like.
ideal.
And I just think it's really sad. I think it's sad. I think it's
Yeah.
really
I
sad. Like
think it is sad.
I was really angry about that video. No, I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't upset in terms of I was crying, but I was thinking, my God, like imagine if someone genuinely was triggered by that, like properly triggered. It could have made someone really, really unwell and really ill.
Mhm.
And I think that's why really I've chosen to talk about that tonight, because I don't really talk about that in terms of I would never shove that on my Instagram or anything like that because I'm not that vocal really. Like,
Mm.
I talk about it with my friends and my family know about
Yeah.
it and things like that, but I don't really talk about stuff like this. But I feel
I feel a
that
bit, I
tonight
don't
is a
know.
good reason to talk about it, just because I
Yeah.
think if we're going to talk about body image, it does happen to nearly everybody. So
Yeah.
I think
And I think
we,
we're at a real tipping point at the minute. Um, I don't know if you
yeah,
feel this, but I just feel like there's so much constantly thrown out about bodies and how we should be
yeah,
looking.
100%. Yeah, and
And
actually,
I
we should be
don't,
thinking about other
yeah,
things.
yeah, what are you gonna have, for, I don't know, for Christmas? Like, just think about other things or other
Well,
things in life that you
no,
can,
we should be thinking about are those people nice people? Like that's what we
yeah.
should be thinking. Like what like people talk about kindness, kindness this and kindness that. it really is something that we should be focusing on. If more people
Yeah.
were thinking about, oh, if
Yeah.
that person's a nice person, like let's work with them
Yeah.
because they're really nice and
Yeah.
they got a really great energy and they get people going and they're collaborative and they work well in a team,
Totally.
not just what they look like.
Yeah, because I do.
I
I
think
think there's
people, yeah.
an awful sort of flip switch of instantly anything anyone does at the minute is met with judgment. And I think
Hmm.
if the world was just a nicer place and we met people halfway with a bit of empathy and a bit of just seeing them as a person, not as a commodity, not as something you need to judge or dress or make up, just a person. You're just talking to a
Well,
person.
I think just for me, it's just thinking about treating someone with kindness and how you would like to be treated.
Yeah.
It's stuff that's been said in school since I was a tiny little girl,
Yeah.
but we still keep saying it because people don't do it. So
Yeah. It's
be nice to
crazy.
people, be
Just
nice
be
to yourself,
nice.
and be nice to other people.
Yeah. Have courage and be kind, Alison.
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think
yeah,
so.
I think if we yeah, there's lots more I could say, but I feel
Oh
like we should
gosh,
save it
yeah,
for the
we could talk about this till the cows come home. We really could.
yeah. Well,
So
maybe
many
we should
different
save it for the
examples.
next episode.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's do
Maybe.
that.
But thank you so much, my friend. And thank you very much for being very generous and brave with sharing your point of view on it, because I think it can be really terrifying. So props to you, my pal.
No, that well, it's fine. I think it's important to share, like in terms of I don't know if anyone else was ever really doubting or worrying, or if that ever happened to somebody else, because it can and does happen to everybody, and I think yeah, you just need to be kind to yourself and to everyone else.
Yeah.
Well, I'll see you
Well, my
soon.
friend. See you soon. And on that note, I'll
Bye.
see you next week. Bye, my friend. Mwah.
Bye.
Sorry, guys. I actually meant to recommend a book. If anyone has any further reading, there's a fantastic book that covers all of this and why we infantilize women to look a certain way. It's called Everything is Tuberculosis, and it is fantastic. Please, some reading recommendations, some light reading for you all. Go forth and enjoy. Ciao.